Alright, so this is going to be a review for the Lamzu Atlantis Mini V2 4K. I'm sorry if the sun is in the way, and I'm sorry if this video took forever. I just started college, and yeah, you know how that kind of goes. So anyway, so like and sub, thank you to Lamzu for sending this out to me. Not sponsored, they didn't tell me to say anything, they literally just sent it to me. So thank you for that. And yeah, let's get into it. So first I'm going to start with the price, and that is $99. This mouse comes out to about $100, which is cheaper than a lot of top-end mice right now. And I'll tell you right now that especially with the firmware fixes with this is a mouse you're definitely going to want to look at. So just going to start off with the specs. 49 grams for the small, 55 for the medium, 100 hours of battery life on 1000 hertz, or a few days. I would say like 2 to 3 days on 4K. 3395 sensor, Huano blue shell pink dots on the main switches. I don't know what are on the side buttons, but if you've ever tried the XM1 side buttons, these are kind of how they feel. Just a little bit. These ones are a little bit less tactile and a little bit less mushy, or maybe a little bit more mushy actually. We'll get into that in a minute. Nordic MCU, TTC silver scroll wheel, and it's available in blue, white, and black. This is the white. It has blue accents, and yeah. So the shape, I'm going to start with the shape first because that's a very important topic with this mouse. This is a very awkward, aggressive shape. I don't know if a lot of people are going to like it. Personally, for me, I do prefer the X2 mini shape, but that's only for one reason, and that's because I kind of have very thin palms. I don't have huge palms, and the hump on this is very similar to something like the XM1, and that mouse just didn't really fit in my hand. If you can see the way it curves down here and also slopes very aggressively. The mouse is white and there's sun. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, so the specs are 117 x 63 x 37. So it's 117 millimeters long, 63 millimeters at its widest, and 37 millimeters at its tallest. So getting into a few things with the buttons, these main clicks are probably the second best stock clicks I've ever tried. The first ones still being the G-Wolves ones. The Zippies are so good. Maybe top three. Anything with like Japanese Amrons is also very good as well. But the one thing that makes these switches so good, or these clicks so good in general, is the quality on them is great. There's no side wobble on either of them, and they are perfect just how you want them for a Huano. There's a little bit of pre-travel, that's what you want with a Huano, and there's a little bit of post-travel, that's what you want with a Huano. So that is very good. These clicks feel great. They're nice and tactile and crispy. If you're looking for light clicks, you're not going to get that from this at all. These are going to be very satisfying tactile clicks, and it just got really dark for no reason. You're just going to have to mind that. So the side buttons are a little bit of a different story. They're really big. They don't feel too great. They're mushy. I don't even know if you can really see this well, but there is a lot of mush on them, especially on the back one. The front one isn't really a problem unless you're clicking on the back here, but this back one right here feels a lot like the back XM1 side button. If you don't know anything about the XM1, the back side button on the XM1 is almost always very, very, very mushy because, yeah, these feel like these super light click side buttons a little bit, actually, just in bigger form. That's kind of what they feel like. Maybe not as mushy, but they give off a similar feel. Scroll wheel is great. No problems with it. There are like little ridges on it. I don't even know if you can see that because of the light. But yeah, you maybe can. It's a rubber scroll wheel. Feels like the rubber on the... Yeah, it just feels like rubber, honestly. It's not super defined. It is very smooth and light. Very good in game. It's a very good in-game scroll wheel. It's not super light actually, but it does scroll it's not super tactile. And the steps are not super defined. But that's really not a bad thing for a mouse like this. And the overall quality on it is great. Let's get into the unboxing experience. So in the box, you get a few things. Obviously, you get this. I have another mouse plugged in, but this is the 4K dongle. It's got like a little trident on it, and yeah. So in the box, you obviously get the mouse. This is the box. It's actually really cool the way that they do it. And then this comes off, and then this actually opens like this. And this opens both ways. I've obviously taken a bunch of the stuff out. This is the 1K dongle. It's like this blue translucent looking dongle, and it does say Atlantis. You can't see that. It does say Atlantis on the top, so you won't lose it. The grips. So the grips, it does come with feet, and it also comes with other dot feet. The grips feel a lot like the Dragonfly grips, or maybe a little bit better than the G-Wolves grips. Actually, they might feel identical to the G-Wolves grips. They're basically like the G-Wolves, and now it's really bright again. I don't even know what's going on. Yeah, so feet, grips, manual, and a little baggie. That's basically what you get, which is, I mean, pretty good. You don't get a lot of stuff with the Pulsar mice, so yeah. Now, it also does say all these specs on the back of your box. So if you are looking for the battery life, or what the mouse is made out of, switch-wise and stuff, you will see that. Now, on the bottom, there is like this butterfly kind of look. This is how they get it so light. There's holes everywhere, but it's actually very stable. And the DPI button is down here on the bottom. So this right here is not a button. This is your DPI indicator. This is your on and off, and then this is your DPI. When you press this, this lights up, and it'll show you. Now, one thing I'm not a fan of very much on this mouse is the coating. I love the new updated X2 mini coating. This one just kind of feels like matte, and my hands do get a little bit slippery on it. It's a little bit grippy, but it's not as grippy as the new Pulsar coating, and my fingers and hands do sweat on it. It does say Lamzu on the sign, and like on the side, in like a shiny, it's reflective kind of, which is nice. I don't even know why I even mentioned that. But yeah, so also I forgot to mention that the click on this mouse is very heavy, so if you do click a lot, the scroll click that is, you're gonna have a problem. But it feels fine. The feet are a little bit interesting. So I broke this in on a SkyPad, and at first the feet sucked. They were awful. Now they're pretty good on a soft pad like the Saturn. I wouldn't really replace them. They're not super slow. They are pretty fast, actually. They were very fast on my SkyPad. The weight balancing on this mouse is perfectly fine. So the feet, just give it time. They're gonna suck at first, and honestly, they probably still do suck on the SkyPad. If I go back to my SkyPad, I probably will change these feet. They're not super thin, like you can see them. They're not super thin. Sorry about my fingernails, but yeah, they're just eh. And I did update the software and everything, so it is up to date. I will go over the software and everything now, actually. All right, so as you can see here, I'm on the software. It does say 4K. It'll always say please wait, update happening. That's just like a bug. It's not actually updating everything. Everything's up to date. Here are my settings. 48% battery life. I do use 0 milliseconds. I haven't had any double clicks, but sometimes this does just reset to 1. So it's like, it's whatever. I mean, it's like a millisecond. But yeah, I do use 0 or 1 because it resets it sometimes to 1. Macros, DPI stuff, 4000 hertz. Don't use any of this stuff over here, the ripple control. Only use motion sync, and this, I probably wouldn't use this. I have no idea what this even means, so I'm not going to use it. Alright, so that is basically the software. I mean, yeah. I will just show off actually this. So yeah, here's your DPI indicator. It just shows it on the bottom. But yeah, so I mean, that's basically it for this video. You know, the mouse is great. If you like the XM1 and you don't really want to wait for like an XM1 wireless, just pick this up. I mean, it's going to be smaller, but you're going to like it. The buttons are going to feel better than whatever they use on the XM1. I'm sure of that. And there's no problems with it. I would probably buy this over the GPX2, even though I haven't used it, but I just don't really see a point in $160 or $180 on a G Pro X2. This is great. I wouldn't put this over. Obviously, I'm not going to put this over any 8,000 hertz wireless mice like the VMSC or the new ULX. But over something like the Dragonfly, this is a step up, or anything like the Darmo Shark stuff, obviously. It's the same thing as how it was with the 1K mice. These two mice right here, I will do a comparison of them, but these are basically identical mice. You're picking the shape, really. So if you want more of like an XM1-ish experience, get the Lamzu. If you want something a little bit different, get this. But that's a completely different video. That's the end of this video. Peace.